Welcome, the Almighty, the highest and best. I'm Master Naima. I am sacred. My voice is sacred. My body is sacred. I am sacred. My voice is sacred. My body is sacred. And I welcome in the Most High. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am Master Naima. Oh, it's been some weeks since I've been here. And I have been cooking some whole, deeply healthy meals, some desserts without the white stuff. No dairy, no white sugar, no white flour. I have been sleeping and resting unlike never before, like unprecedented kind of resting. Hello, I have 2-1 people. And so I have an outline here about what I'm going to be going into today. And so what happened is I started this video at about 1:04. And people were coming in, but they weren't talking to me. And my original intent was to have it be specifically people who believe in my work. And I know they're there. It was just like to call them into one place at one time. And so it appears that those people are not here right now, because the people who were showing up with the first video I did, they were not speaking to me. And the people who believe in my work and who are responding to the invitation that was put out to be here with me now, they would have showed up and obviously engaged, because the request was that you come here with me specifically to be a part of this high request that I have of those who believe in my work. So what I do is I stopped that video and I said, fuck it, that specific thing, and decided to create a new thing. Immediately came with a whole new intention that I am activating with my voice, because my voice is a sigil. And for the one person who's here now, or for the people who watch the replay, you have the choice to use the powerful sigil of my voice to manifest in your life the highest and best. I have a voice that when I'm in public and I speak, people turn around and look. So you have the privilege of being here, of me being willing to come on camera, and you being even like, out of the 7.8 billion people on planet Earth, you get to hear my voice. That is extraordinary. And so what I'm going to go into in this video is, first of all, this is more so for me, and for those of you who do end up watching the replay and who truly believe in my work and wish to be a part of encouraging me and supporting me as I'm writing this book, you still can. Although I arrived here with a new intention. So today I'm going to be talking about why I'm writing this book for masters. I'm going to be sharing my deadline that I've created in my head. I'm going to put out a request for engagement from you. When I say from you, I mean the people who believe in my work and wish to have this book out in the world as well. And yeah, that's it. So I'll go into some details later. So to me, this is a seed planting thing, okay? This is a high spiritual order. The seeds have already been planted in the spiritual realm days ago. So I'm going to speak a bit about that. I was laying down, and it was early morning, like when it's still dark. And I've been thinking about writing a book for a couple years now, and the idea that was going through my head was this series of short stories. I've done a lot of alchemical story writing over the years that have created volcanoes on the internet, where people have lives have been changed by reading my material. People who have disdained me for the material that I've written, all because it's highly alchemical. And so I have been thinking about this book thing, but not like in a real way, like not really, right? Just a thought, a fleeting thought. And I was in bed, I want to say this was 3 days ago. I'm thinking it was 3 days ago. And it just came into my head. It was just like the honesty of it, the purity of, Naima, you're writing a book. And then when I allowed it to be there versus, I'm not writing a book, or right, and just the tone of it was right. The tone of it was right. And I remember as I rested with it and I was laying in bed, this jolt came up. What happens for me in my experience, and everyone has their own, is that when truth, like a truth that's from the highest dimension, comes through the body, it jolts somewhere in the body. For me, it jolts in my cervix and my uterus. Jolts. Like, and it was like, it is already done. It was just like that. It is already done. Like, it was just like that. And so that seed was planted in the spiritual realm days ago. And I said, okay, here we go. So I'm a master who's embodied, who owns my position, and who's public with it. Now, if this was a year ago, I would have did the dance that so many masters do, whereas like, I know, but not now. And I don't know if I can do that. Like, who's gonna, like that boring, depressing game, right? And so when it came and it was planted and I was clear that it was planted, it was like, okay, time to plant this in the earthly realm. Time to plant this in the earthly realm. So I started doing that, started telling people who are closer to me, hey, I'm writing a book. I'm giving myself about this much time. Well, or should I give myself less time or should I give myself more time? Like I start planting it, right? I wrote out my outline yesterday, start planting here on the earthly realm, okay? So what is this gonna look like? What am I really gonna be talking about? Writing it down, working it through my mind. And a freaking woman on LinkedIn messaged me yesterday morning. A woman messaged me on LinkedIn. I don't even know this woman. We just recently became connected on LinkedIn. I don't know her. She sent me a LinkedIn request telling me that she helps people, speakers, self-publish their books. Yeah, of course. So she sends me something. And then I remember I had this other self-publishing course that I bought like a year and a half ago. So I'm reading all that and I'm like, okay, it is time to like formally announce this to the people that I'm writing a book for masters. So that's the drop right there. I'm writing a book catered to masters. Now, why does this matter? This is a big deal. This is huge. This is really big. Nobody knows and carries the material to speak to master. So I'm in the transformation space. Let me tell all this like material stuff that satisfies people's brains. So I've always been the crazy person who didn't fit in, right? I'm the black sheep in my family. I'm that one, okay? And so my teenage years reflects that. My formative years, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old reflects that. Like this is in my wiring. I didn't like turn into some other person when I hit my 20s. Like I have been this my entire life. And I got so many stories, right? But just to give you like that stuff that, your brain would like to hear. So I got married young, divorced, moved from California to Texas, where I knew nobody, built a fashion marketing company from the ground up and through hustle and hard work, sold it 4 years later, came into the transformation space in 2011. Tried to bring the same business mindset there. That didn't work, because in the transformation space, it is all about the honesty of who you are. And you only perform well when you're at your highest and best and constantly growing. There's never an in-between in the transformation space. So I struggled there. Then when I got really serious about coming into intimacy with my dark and my light, and reconciling that, which is essential, then I went from barely doing 5,000-ish dollars a month to six figures, multiple six figures in 18 months, multiple six figures in 2 years, and then crossed the 7-figure mark in under 4 years. So that's like my cred, my business cred. And behind all that, though, this is what I'm getting at, why this work matters now. Behind, if I take it all the way back, right, when I, got out from elementary to middle school, because that's when things really shifted. And I think based on the research that I've done within my own self and talking to other masters behind the scenes, there's a drastic shift that happens from elementary school to middle school. The puberty starts to kick in, and children start to come into a more mature state. There's an innocence, in preschool and K through 5. And then there's a sort of losing of innocence that starts to happen in the 6th and 7th grade. And so the purity of one's genius starts to really get messed with in a way that causes a lot of masters to fall into amnesia. And that was my reality. And the practice of forgetting what one knows, it's a practice that starts years ago. Like, you are not to blame for this. And so over the years, the enormous struggle, the enormous exhaustion and exertion of energy to be what I am not, to perform, to get along, the shape-shifting myself to make money, the lies, the layers of lies, the contortions of self. And I could really go on and on. And then undoing those, okay? So there's all the tightening and the shifting oneself to get along, because as a master, your normal way, all right, my normal way did not fit anywhere. It doesn't fit. It's not meant to fit. That's the thing. So it really messes with the brain, like deeply messes with the brain. And so it doesn't fit anywhere. And so an untrained mind, not brain, an untrained mind, because the brain, we can go deep here, but the mind, an untrained mind, will then have a master fall into amnesia, right? All the genius that they possess, that they're meant to bring forward, just falls away. And when I say falls away, I mean it just goes and it buries itself within the human of that master. And at some point, it becomes terribly painful to carry the burden of hiding, of lying. It just becomes extremely, but then there's another pain, even once one decides to move it forward, but it's a pain of coming into wholeness with oneself, so that then you become true and the pain goes away, and then you deal with a different kind of maturity of self and cleanness of your genius to be able to come out of your mouth, to come through your writing, all the ways that it's meant to come out and hit this planet, serve the people who it's uniquely meant to serve. So I was looking for who I've now become to be able to write this book. Okay, so the reason why this book is being written It's a few reasons. One reason is this must come out before I die. First of all, I will go mad, and I've gone mad many times. I will go mad and will be unable to live with myself without this book coming out. First of all, okay? So that's on some level, very self-serving, okay? Number two, there are masters all around the world. And let me take a moment to define again. I have defined master countless times since October of last year when I came out and owned who I am. I'll say it again. A master is an individual who was born highly spiritually intelligent. Okay. They know things that are not in books, that cannot be Googled, and they have material that is meant to shift the way a certain demographic of people think, live, behave, feel, engage, that improves their life. And this could take shape in many, many forms. I was watching an old Beyonce video. When I say old, it was like when she was still doing interviews. So I want to say like 6 years, something like that, 6, 7 years ago. And she was saying something like, I posted it on my Instagram. Actually, I posted it here on the business page as well. And what she said, and I'm paraphrasing, she said, there are things that I know that nobody taught me and nobody can teach you. It's just you are. That's what she said. And when she said that, I said, this is the definition of a master. The material that masters have is only available if they write it, if they teach it, if they speak it. Now, if this is such a thing, why don't we see more people in the world as masters? And when I say master, I don't mean just because you studied with a shaman in Peru, or you know, all the things that New Age spirituality has deposited into the psyches of human beings that sells spirituality. Masterhood is not, a person does not study to become a master. You cannot, even if you study with the finest masters around the world, even if you seclude yourself with monks in the Himalayas for a decade and you rid yourself of all impurities and drink clean and pray to God, Allah, whoever your God is, for a decade, that does not earn you into master. Master it's not a sexy, on an ego level, it's sexy, right? Because it's like, ooh, I got something that other people don't have. But there's a blessing and a curse in that. Not to be discouraging, it's just the reality. You don't earn your way into master. You don't serve your way into master. You don't study to become a master. You are born as such. A master is born. So that's why when I share who I've been since the beginning, okay, up until now, and the tightening, right, of self, that just the extreme psyche corruption, and then the undoing. And the undoing for me started in 2013. And so the importance of this book is that it will speak things to people. Woo! The right people. It will speak the piercing, clear truth to masters, that when they hear it, even if they just, come across the book on an accident, or somebody says, I just get a feeling you should read this book, or they, however it comes into their hands, no matter if they are struggling financially or if they are rich, whether they are a mom or a student, whether they are, middle-aged or, young, when they read my words, or hear them, they will know it to be true. And they will feel legitimized. They will feel legitimized. You know, I have been using the word master from October until like February-ish of this year. And what was happening was people would inbox me and be like, you're talking about me. People who have been following me for years and I didn't even know was following me for years. And like, you're talking to me, but I'm still scared to come out, or I don't feel the need to call myself a master, or I don't want to call myself a master. And I announced that I was going to instead call us geniuses. And that was an ego play. When I say an ego play, I mean, one of the problems, and part of the book is going to serve this in such a great way, I'm going to speak about this in the book, is that an untrained ego gets in the way of a master taking their place. And so this preliminary work, I call it prerequisite work. By the way, I'm leading a master class June 3rd going into this. There's prerequisite work required for a master to do the real work. When I say the real work, I mean the genius that only they possess. Hi, Taisha. The genius that only they possess. Because remember, as I said, masters are born highly spiritually intelligent, and they have material that literally no one else has, and literally no one else will have until they write it, speak it, put it out there in some kind of a way. All right. And so the issue is that the brain does not comprehend sovereignty. I'm going to say that again. The brain, which only understands survival, the brain only understands give me housing, give me food, give me clothes, keep me safe. That's all the brain understands. So when it's time for you to claim who you actually are, who you've been your entire life, which you would think would be easy, right? This is who I am. Like, I've been this my whole life. Like, I have this material. This is real life. This is who I am. You still have a brain. The brain still doesn't, right? So that's a hurdle for the brain, right? And so an untrained brain, if a master is housing this brain while at the same time housing this signature intelligence, there has to be a training of the brain. And so the book is going to go into how to do that. I'm going to go into it some in this masterclass, but the book is going to give me a great opportunity to go deep into it, give exercises to really allow you to sit with it, to really take your time with it, and to really get it into the fabric of your being. And so the world, today is what, May 14th, right? We're in the middle of this pandemic. There's tons of uncertainty. People are feeling a whole host of emotions. And I'm going to say this now because it's my video and I can say whatever the hell I want to say. I have thoroughly appreciated, aside from the inconveniences, look, my favorite coffee place shifted things, we can't sit there anymore, inconvenience, right? But from the big picture perspective, I have loved this. I actually think the world will be better off with actually a lot more of certain people dying. I actually think people who are incredibly, incredibly low in consciousness and who are unproductive, the world would energetically be better, which would make everybody better with those people dying. And I'm wondering how that can fit into the book, where it will tie in. Please understand, I'm just going to get, metaphysical about this just for a moment, because that's not right. Let me just take this side dish and give it some voice real quick. Keep in mind, there is dark and light that exists in all of us, okay? Every human being walking planet Earth has dark and light in them. There are some human bodies that have spirits that are not in service to this earth, that are not in service to the uplifting of humanity in any way whatsoever. If you're a fan of the Bible and you fully buy the entirety of the Bible, even if you take the Bible a la carte, it talks about a Satan being outcast down to earth, right? The dark and, okay, listen, there's about 1 billion people that if they died, the vibration of the earth would rise dramatically and everybody's life would improve as a result. This is metaphysical and I know it to be true. This is not, I know it, okay? And for those of you who have talked to a lot of strangers and you've gone into a lot of, environments around the world and you talk to people and you see people and you sense people, you have seen these people who that they are using up resources and they are not contributing to the planet in any way. So that's a whole other side dish, and I'll put that back to the side and continue. So this book is going to go deep. Oh my God, I'm just, and that's why I'm doing this verbal. This is great. Like this, my voice is a sigil. It's incredibly powerful. And when I speak, it makes an impression. It makes an indentation in my own system because the vibrations come through my own body and they also make implants and embedding into the universe. And so this book will allow me to reach masters who I will never get a chance to work with, who are at the infancy stages of coming out of the closet, ones who don't even know that they're a master, but as soon as they read the book, they will know that they are. It will legitimize masters because masters have exerted so much work to fit in. They're doing so much work to fit in that when they read my words, it will melt. Like a lot of the work they would have done or not done will melt away, the angst and the solution seeking, right? It'd just be like a homecoming. It'll be a jubilee. It'll be a waking up. It'll be a loosening of the body, an opening of the heart. It'll be a purification of the system, allowing these masters to then start to come out into the marketplace. And even if they're not entrepreneurs and they have no desire for that, that they will serve in another way, whether it's through better parenting or being a better sister or brother or, a better employee, a better, person in their body. So that's another reason why it matters to serve masters in that way. Another reason why it matters is that if I don't do it, it won't get done. Remember, masters have material that nobody else has. When you hang up here with me today, I want you to scroll down, and it's not a bunch of scrolling. It's like maybe 2 posts away. You'll see it's like a 35-second Beyonce video where she talks about she knows things that nobody taught her. And she said, nobody can teach you. You just are. And that's another thing that messes with the brain of a master because it's sometimes you don't even see it. You just feel it. You just know. And it's like, what is this thing, right? If you've seen The Matrix, Morpheus said it to Neo when they first met. Remember that scene? He was like, let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. You don't know what it is, but you feel it. And that thing has brought you to me. That. And so this book, I'm the only person who can write it. And this is not an ego play. I know, there's so much ego of like, nobody can do it better than me. And it's not that. It's, I have material that nobody else has. Just as if you are a master, you have material that nobody else has. And I know that is that's so enormous to the psyche of a human who's underdeveloped. Once you become developed, which is how I serve my clients, by the way, once you become developed, it's normal. It's not the whoa, fuck shit. I mean, like, it's significant, right? In that it's to be respected and honored by you so that you treat it as such, you hire as such, you carry it as such. But it's not like this dramatic, egoic, oh my God, I'm so scared of my power. And I just can't. And like the pseudo soul searching and like that, you know what I mean? And the dance of, all that. So that's that. And so moving on. I have given myself 10 weeks, right? Really keep myself, right? Really keep myself. I have given myself 10 weeks to focus. So 10 weeks at minimum, the first draft will be done. Now, if I get into this and things move faster, I might have the first draft edited by 10 weeks. However, at minimum, I've given myself 10 weeks to complete the first draft, okay? And so here's the high request that I have. Here's the high request. So I'm very much an introvert. I love my own company. If I could get away with not like having someone else handle my marketing in some kind of way, and I just show up to teach and, be in a container with masters and do my thing, I would totally do that. I might even find a way. So this book is going to really from my, from that perspective of being an introvert, Lord knows how much more introverted I will be in writing this book, and super retreated, which by the way, I've been really enjoying that aspect of quarantine. But, writing this book and the kind of things that will catch my attention in the process, and, old things that I may read or new things that I may read. And so I imagine that I'll be very intimately involved with this process. I already see it happening. And so here's my high request of you. Check on me. Check on me. Send me thoughtful messages inside of my inbox. Just checking on me. Thoughtful messages. If you think of me in a positive way, let me know. If you see something, right, because I imagine from time to time, I'll be putting things here that particularly feel inspired to share here on the wall. If you see something and it speaks to you in some kind of a way, talk to me in the comments, okay? Check on me. I've said 10 weeks, right? Today is May 14th, so do the math, 10 weeks out. Pay attention, show up, come see, has Naima updated anything? Naima, if I happen to not say anything for 4 weeks, come and say, Naima, I noticed you've been silent for 4 weeks. What's going on? If you are a master, message me. Say, Naima, I am a master. I am looking forward to your book. Let me know that you're waiting for it. This is my high request of you. So I currently have 4 people watching, okay? One person just came, so... of the 4 of you who are watching, I think Taisha, if you're still here, yeah. Who here is going to, what's your response to my request? That's my question. What is your response to my request? And as you do that, let me see here. Oh, yeah. So I may also go live within this 10 weeks or even after, right? Because there's so much, there's the writing the book, then there's the selling the book. There's all the marketing that goes into it. And so as I go live, whether it's within the 10 weeks, let's just focus on the 10 weeks for now, the next 10 weeks, okay? Oh, I feel so much sensation around this. When you see me live, come here. Come here. Come talk to me. Okay? When you see me live, come talk to me. Come be with me. This book is already done. This book is already done. Wow. This is of such a high spiritual order, this book. It is of such a high spiritual order. And there's such a depth, I feel it in the deep of my vagina. feel it in the deep of my vagina. I feel such home with it. Home. I'm wrapping up here. So 3 people here, nobody has said anything to me. Why are you here? When I hang out on somebody's video, for me to hang out on somebody's video for as long as you guys have been here, I care. So I'm involved. I'm paying attention. Caitlin. I don't think we've ever met. Hi, Caitlin. And it feels so right. Wait, how do we feel like me? Okay. So need that one during your 10 weeks. To my high requests. I made a couple of requests, Taisha. The reason why I call them high requests, water is so refreshing, is because you are speaking to a high thing. You are encouraging a high thing. You are fanning the flames of a high thing when you engage with me thoughtfully and positively. And then this is and a lot of people don't really get it. Their brains, they don't really understand what I mean when I say high. High doesn't have anything to do with money. It doesn't have anything to do with book smarts. It doesn't have anything to do with how long you studied with the master shaman. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the source from which your way of being comes from. It has to do with the source from which you speak, from which you work from which you live from which where your morality stands. That is highness. This book that's being written, that is already done in the spiritual realm and will be written here for earth, comes from that high spiritual place. Anybody who attempts to, in any way, subtle or direct, to intercept this is hurting themselves immensely because of the source from which this book is coming from. Like this is material from the Most High. And even further, there are dimensions in the universe that possess a level of power that is beyond the earth's interpretation. So I'm talking about the awe. This is the highest place. Like you gotta go deep within yourself to even know what I'm talking about. This is way beyond New Age spirituality. This is way beyond light workers in the typical sense. This is way beyond the law of attraction. This is way beyond Abraham Hicks. This is way beyond, who else? Dwayne Dwyer and all of them. This is way beyond all of your popular, famous. This is way beyond that. This is the world this is the underworld, the higher dimensions that influence this dimension. That's where this book is coming from. All right, let me look at you guys' comments. Hi, Francesca. I am glad you can't wait to read my book. This book is for us. I really see this book is for us. When I say us, I mean masters and the people whose lives will be drastically improved as a result of being in relationship with us. Okay, Taisha, I see you. All right, so that's it. 10 weeks from today. I have not done exactly the math on that, but I know today is May 14th. The first draft will be done by 10 weeks from today or sooner. All right. And that's my request, that you check on me, for those of you who really care, who are thoughtful in reaching out to me, not just whatever, but that you've really thought about it, you know? And you care to see this book out in the world. Yeah, you care to see this book out in the world. I want to thank you for engaging. For those of you who have engaged, Taisha, Francesca, Abo, I don't think we've ever met before. Hi, Abo. Caitlin. Yeah. So I think that's it for now. So thank you so much. The clock is ticking. 10 weeks or less from today, the first draft of the book will be done. Thank you so much.